Hello. Is it just me or is the volume loud now? Yesterday I didn't feel like it was. Today I'm like, ah. The scuff is real. You know what's hard is it's gonna quiet down. But let me... Is that better? I try not to move it too much, because I feel like it's usually too quiet. I think part of it's probably just my headphones. Because I have those really loud. Anyways, hello! It is my last stream of the year. Well, it'll be a touch quieter. Hesitate. My fluid situation? What kind of way to put it is that? What do you mean, how is my fluid situation? If you make me drink all of the drinks that I'm drinking, I'll just go get something else. I can get more water. Not that I'm drinking water, but like... This does not mean spam hydrate. You spam anything, you'll be in trouble. Every half hour? Okay. Okay. I don't know how long the stream is gonna be, because I do have a couple things I need to do, like, offline. I don't want you killing your throat. I have sacrificed before. I've suffered the consequences. Just the consequences of my own actions. At that time I had the sinus infection that ruined my entire body, but mostly my throat.
I will send you to Jesus.
Hey, I heard that. Rude. Can't believe you would say this to me. On this, the last day I can stream this year. You know what I realized though, thinking about the fact that I'm leaving soon, is so I fly Southwest Airlines, and if you've ever flown Southwest, it's kind of a free-for-all, like, for where you're going to sit. So basically you want to get on the plane as soon as you possibly can. I don't remember if I have a meeting, like, when my boarding time is, so when I could, like, hit the button so that the thing can still tell me that I'm in group, like, C. I hate flying. There's a lot I hate about traveling. I do fly Southwest. I've always flown Southwest, and I'm never going to forgive them for the time that they tried to get nasty at me for my dog, like the carrier that I have my dog in. I bought it from them, specifically so they couldn't harass me. And they were like, it's not big enough. And I was like, you sold me this! What are you for real? I'm still mad. I'm still mad. I'm never gonna let that go. Screw you, Southwest. I hate you. I think they're gonna charge me more money than usual. Southwest zones that don't have PvP enabled. I mean, technically, actually, I learned this because of one of my brothers. You can, if you get the right paperwork and if you pay a lot of money, you can actually fly, like, with... They probably limit which ones they can be, but... I'm just saying. That is a thing my brother did once. I'm like, why? Didn't you just leave it at home? What is wrong with you? But I'm mad because Southwest charges me a stupid amount of money for the dog. It's gonna cost more for the dog than for me, and I'm upset. I get upset about this every time. I complain every single time I'm traveling. I've been complaining for like 8 years. It's so dumb. She's so small. But no. No, they're gonna... As long as I don't scare her this time, Because they kind of scared her once, because they make me, like, set the bag in front of them that she's in, and she doesn't always like that. Like, can she turn around, and then I'm like, please don't make her start barking. Please don't scare the dog. Oh yeah, it'll be nice to go, like, see my parents, but the getting there and the getting back, I'm like, oh, no, I don't want it. Why would anyone want to scare Pupper? The requirements for flying with an animal like that are really bizarre, because, like, they have specific dimensions that the bag can be, which actually her bag is bigger than that, but I don't care. It can bite me. It still fits. But they have this list of really specific dimensions the carrier has to be, but then they also say your pet has to be able to turn around all the way in it. Like, can she turn around in there? I'm like, she's fine, don't look at her, don't touch her, don't talk to her. She's shy, leave her alone. Poor Pepper. She is actually a great cavalier, though. Because more of the times I get off of an airplane than not, and I'm like walking away and I'll start talking to the dog. The person sitting next to me will be like, I didn't know you had a dog this whole time, and I'm like, because she's a good dog. She's underneath a blanket behind me, ignoring me. You know I'm saying good things about her? What's your favorite rain stream? The more she complained about airlines and talked about her dog for a long time. Oh, I should hit the button. I should honestly use my just chatting screen for this, but I didn't think I was gonna chat. I think I was gonna yap. And then I yapped. I'm sorry. Okay, the last time, I think we left off at another, like, guilty verdict. Or not, well, the jury thinks that he's guilty and we'll have to do another summation examination. To be fair, yapping is rarely planned. I don't do that yapping thing very well. I thought I was gonna yap so much more yesterday. I feel so bad. Yesterday was the most boring stream of my life. I'm sorry. I showed you the worst content of Honkai Star Rail. The really god-awful side quests that don't matter. My bad. Well, and the one companion quest that frustrated everyone. I did another companion quest after that, because I kept playing after stream. And that one was more fun. I didn't like the Yukong one. It's fine, today is a new day. I think I'm in the right spot. Those two were stupid and that quest line was pointless. I've considered the defense counsel's request for a further summation examination of the jury. And I've determined that the court must uphold the defense's judicial right to this procedure. Oh, thank God. So, counsel, you will now proceed with your second summation examination. I think there's gonna be more of them. I presume the jury is ready, Mr. Foreman? Because I know where this is going, and I think we have another investigation sequence, like, after this. I don't think I said we are, but they are. They are ready. Very good. In that case, I must ask each of you now to state clearly and concisely for the court the grounds on which you find the defendant guilty of this crime. Again. It's okay though, we haven't seen them in a while. The accused left behind evidence at the scene, didn't he? Those 3 books of his. If there was some novel alternative explanation about how the victim was stabbed, I might reconsider. Even if the woman was throwing books, it can't be related to this crime if the window was closed, can it? Well... Dearie me, it was only a little book. Hardly life-threatening, even with a direct hit. Look, I just want to get this over with. If I don't bring home some pain tonight, I'll be in a tiny bit of trouble. Come to think of it, we had a fire at home a while ago. Gave me the sneezes. The sneezes? Yes. Considerably more tangible arguments from all members of the jury this time around, it seems. One of them was, I want to go home. And one of them was, I had a fire in my house once. What do you mean? I mean, one of them was, it was just a book, it doesn't matter. It wasn't life-threatening. With one notable exception, of course. My learned student friend was unable to find fault in the previous witness testimony. So the court must accept the fact that it was indeed the accused seen fleeing from the scene. And moreover... dramatic. No one else was even at the scene to commit the crime. Well, if the eyewitnesses are correct, it would seem as if the conclusion is somewhat set in stone. I fail to see how it can be argued any other way. That means, I'm afraid, that during the summation examination, it's essential that you establish some other tangible explanation for the facts. But how? What would even constitute a tangible explanation here? I think this is the one... yeah. Maybe? I think I know where this is going. Isn't it obvious? Who stabbed the woman and how? Those two details are all you need to provide. Simply give us a name and a method by which the attack was conducted. And there I was thinking this might be hard. But, Mr. Naruhodo, you have to do it. Otherwise this really will be where the trial ends. I know words. I think. No pressure then. No pressure whatsoever. That's quite enough preamble. Proceed with the summation examination, please. I presume you are prepared, counsel? Oh, yes, my lord. Alright, Ryunosuke, focus your mind now. Clearly, the key to the summation examination is going to be juror number 4, the maid. Should I say Mrs. Garadeb? We have a book that disappeared from the Garadeb's house in the evening of the incident, and the 4th book found in the victim's hand. There must be a way to link the two. Yes, that's what we have to find. Using every technique I've learnt in my short career so far. Whatever it takes. Don't forget to keep an eye on Mrs. Garadeb and how she reacts. Even to the things other people say. Cause I take that to mean she'll react to something. Okay. I would save before this just cause I can. I save my games too often.
Hold it!
But as we now know, there were 4 books, not 3. So let me look through this really quickly. It's been a while. Local map, book receipt, the 3 books, the case file, the knife, picture. You cannot save your games too often. But that. Second photograph with the victim's hand, but look how burnt that book is. The 4th book. Look how burnt it is. That's all my evidence right now. Okay. Well, what difference does it make? There's every possibility that the 4th book, in fact, belongs to the defendant's landlord. Yes, that's the part I have a problem with. Sorry? Well, at the point the woman was stabbed, this landlord fellow was at home, wasn't he? Enjoying a fiery scrap with his wife or something, you said. That's not exactly how I put it, no. Well, anyway, the point is, the fellow and his wife were somewhere else when it happened. What do you mean, somewhere else? But they live right there. I think that's what you call a strong alibi. So it couldn't have been the landlord who did it, which only leaves the Nipponese fellow. Honestly, I can't see what all this palaver's about. It's a done deal, isn't it? Suppose it is, since I have nothing witty left to say.
Hold it!
So, you might be willing to change your decision, you mean? Oh my, such delight on your face. But I'm afraid I shan't be swayed by emotion. Well, I don't know about that. Despite what you may think of me, I'm a very modern, metropolitan, and rational woman. Sure. That's great. Press X to doubt. If one reads the morning papers, it's all forgotten by tea time, isn't it? So why read them in the first place? Well, 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 look who I find in a court of law. You see? Modern, metropolitan, and rational thinking, wouldn't you say? I don't think I would say that, no. And not at all extreme. As I see it, an overwhelmingly suspicious Japanese man has been implicated by overwhelmingly strong testimony. Is it overwhelming? So, despite one or two minor puzzlements, I do declare that the man is overwhelmingly guilty. Modern, metropolitan, and rational logic, wouldn't you say? Overwhelmingly. But us modern gals are always delighted to embrace new fads, you know. So I'd be only too happy to consider an exciting new theory if you could come up with one. So rational. So modern. I'd be happy to do that too, if only I could. Let's do our very best not to disappoint the modern and metropolitan young lady. Right. I'm glad you omitted rational there.
Hold it!
So the last thing we must have established was that there were a fourth book, and we called out the Gyarados because she was throwing things at her husband. Which, I mean, that took up a lot of our first investigation time. Was talking to them and sorting out, doing our great deduction over, how the heck she was kind of beating on her husband. But what about the possibility that the window was open? What about it? I mean, there's just no way it could have been. I wouldn't say that. How can you be so sure? The prosecutor fellow over there said it earlier, didn't he? Winters in London are no joke. You don't want to invite that sort of cold indoors. So no, that window wasn't open. Us Londoners like sitting by the fire and staying warm, see? There was fire involved. But you couldn't categorically state that the window wasn't open, could you? It just wasn't. They wouldn't have opened it. Then what's the point in even having windows, huh? I knew that was in here somewhere and I couldn't remember what. Counsel, you will kindly refrain from childish bickering. Oh, sorry. Somehow, I need to show there's an undeniable possibility that the window was open. Because this young man isn't going to budge otherwise.
Hold it!
But the little book was on fire at the time, was it not? A little bit life-threatening. With flames of love, I'll have you know. Right. There's really no such thing as a loving incendiary bomb. Well, he brought it upon himself. It's playing with fire to betray a fiery love. It's because he found like a note in a book that he bought secondhand that wasn't even for him. She saw it, freaked out, and started throwing things. Isn't it? Well, don't you agree? Oh, well, any kind of betrayal is certainly a bad thing, yes. But I think the argument might have arisen out of your misunderstanding, Mrs. Gyarados. Never you mind that. The point is, we were just having a jovial little dispute, nothing more. Definitely what that was. And I won't have any more of these suggestions that it was anything whatsoever to do with this crime. Right. Well, we'll see about that. But what about juror number 5? It doesn't seem to be turning a hair at Mrs. Gyarados' relentless onslaughts. It's almost as though he's used to it. What a gentle soul he is. I don't know if that's the right term. I don't know if that's the phrase you're looking for.
Hold it!
You just want to get this over with? How can you sit there and say something like that? A man's future is at stake here. Well, him and me both then, like I said before. What? I told you already. I'm a day laborer, aren't I? If I don't bring home some readies with me tonight, you'll find me floating face down in the Thames tomorrow morning. What? You heard me. My missus isn't one to mess about, you know. She can be fierce, believe you me. Another shining example of marital bliss, then. A situation like this cropped up the other day. It was, well, do you know, it's funny, but I can't quite remember. Sorry? It was too frightening, that's the thing. I must have blocked it out. Helpful. I wonder if Mr. Beat will ever be dragged into the by a scarf. No! Don't even go there, Mrs. Zato. There must be some way to jog his memory about this. Oh yeah, the thing about we had a fire at home. Does that have anything to do with your decision about the defendant's culpability in this case? Sorry? What's that? You'll have to speak up, Lad. Could you tell us more about that fire? It was last winter. My grandchildren baked me a lovely cake on my birthday. It had 75 candles on the top, it did. What a sight to behold it was. You put candles on a cake? Was it some kind of devil worship? Is this the chapter where all the good stuff is? All the really weird, stupid things are? Of course not. It was an angel cake. To celebrate my birthday, obviously. It seems that's a common custom here in Great Britain, Mr. Naruhodo. Between what's the point in even having windows and was it some kind of devil worship? Top tier. Anyway, I mustered all my puff to blow them out. Only I must have blown wrong somehow. The flames didn't go out, but candles went flying all over the room. The furniture caught and everything went up. The whole place filled with smoke. Definitely sounds like devil worship to me. And by the sneezes, I presume you mean a cold? But how did you catch a cold from a fire? What a fiasco it was. The grandchildren, bless them, threw water over me as they tried to put out the flames. And then, because the whole room had filled up with smoke, of course, we had to open all the windows to clear it. The windows. The biting winter air rushed over me like the devil dancing on my grave, it did. I got a terrible cold from it. Put me in a hospital for a while. I won't forget that birthday in a hurry. I knew it was devil worship all along. But something about this old man's story is playing on my mind for some reason. And just demonstrate who, apart from Mr. Natsume, could have attacked the young woman on the street. As well as how he or she could have done it. Yes, but once again, the jurors' statements are full of personal prejudice. One of them was just a personal story. A lot of them seem convinced they're right, even in the face of logical arguments to the contrary. I think you're going to need to pit them against each other to force them to accept an alternative explanation. That is indeed what we've been doing. Yes, I don't necessarily need to find contradictions between their assertions, just the connection might do the trick. Okay. Now we've pressed all of those. Okay, so I put the wrong one. But I think it should be... Well... Not you. So you... Now the old guy. Because winter house fires are dire, you have to open windows to clear the smoke.
Objection.
These two jurors' statements clearly contradict one another. They do? How exactly, counsel? Don't point at me again! I told you, it wasn't me! Hmm? What's that? Say you may speak up, lad. Speak up! Juror number 3. Do you see? Oh, me? See what, sir? Did you hear juror number 6's account of his birthday celebrations last year? It seems, despite being a Londoner, he once opened his windows in the middle of winter. Wasn't great for him, but you know, the smoke would have been worse. Well, yes, of course, because it was an emergency. I mean, obviously, if the room was filled with smoke from a fire, then you'd be mad not to open the... Oh! Exactly. On the day in question, at the time of the incident, there was a fire in the Garadeb household. And Mr. Garadeb had the following to say about it. The whole place filled with smoke.
Oh my.
Oh, my hat! Hang on, we're just gonna...
Excuse me.
see what's pouring tea about over here. Juror number 4, do you have something to say about that? Lady, at that rate, you're just gonna drink it out of the pot. Don't bother with the don't bother with the teacup. Mrs. Garrideb. Oh dearie me. What is the meaning of this? How dare you imply that I'm hiding who I really am? We had to solve that mystery once too. It's imperative that you confirm something for the court. So please, it's time to drop the pretense now. What is it? Oh wait, how much tea does she have? Well, it depends. How much tea do you need? When the fire started in your house that day, did you or your husband open the window? What? I beg your pardon? What are you insinuating? The room would have been thick with smoke after the carpet and bookcase caught fire as they did. In a situation like that, it's inconceivable that you wouldn't have opened the window. But what if we did? Oh, alright then. Yes, you're right. My husband was frantically trying to open the window. Which can't have been easy, since I continued to give him a justly deserved book battering. It was still not justly deserved. Even though your house was on fire? Oh, you never stop throwing until the anger subsides. It would be terribly bad for the nerves to do otherwise. This lady. Of course. I should have realized. That's a significant step forward, Mr. Naruhodo. You managed to establish that the window was open. We simply must have that added to Mrs. Garrideb's formal statement. I mentioned the window was open at the time. Alright. I think what we want to do is pit her and the jury foreman against one another. Right? And I'm gonna could have been open. If she says anything else, actually, really quick. The fourth book found at the scene of the crime shows very obvious signs of fire damage. And the title of the book is The Lion's Pride. The same title, in fact, is the book that Mr. Garrideb told us he had been reading. Well, I really couldn't say. On the day in question, did you or did you not throw at your husband the copy of The Lion's Pride that he had been reading? I did. It was the first thing I could lay my hands on. So I hurled it straight at him. And now you come to mention it, yes. He was rather enjoying reading it, you're right. Why did you not reveal this information to the court from the outset? Because I couldn't, you insolent little man. I didn't remember. At times like that, you pick up and throw whatever you can lay your hands on, as well you know. I really don't. I was about to say I don't think he knows.
Oh boy.
I barely noticed I was throwing a book, much less the title of it. I got into him. Hi. What is it, juror number 5? I think you remember what his wife did to him. You know something? I've remembered what it was. That memory I'd blocked out. Ah. It was listening to what this granny was saying. Brought it all flooding back. Granny? Who are you calling a granny, you cheeky devil? I'm Mrs. Garrideb, or the maid, I'll have you know. Should you want to be the maid? The man doesn't even flinch. Please tell me that's not because he's so used to being hit all the time. No, he definitely is. It was about 2 weeks ago now. I'd just gotten back home after work, like. I put my hand in my pocket for the wages I'd just earned that day, and I nearly died. There was a hole. Every last penny had dropped out. Oh dear, what a disaster. You haven't heard the half of it, boy. Oh? The wife was cutting up some chicken at the time. I could hardly get the words out, but I told her straight. I've lost the day's wages, love. Next thing I knew, the blade was whistling past my ear. Stuck into the wall next to me, it did. About an inch deep. No words. Just terror. I could smell it then, you know. That god-awful stench of it. Okay, wait. Echo, have you seen it? It's that bad? We only consult my one British person in the chat. I'm sure I was going to end up face down in the money banks that night, I can tell you. You know, it wouldn't surprise me if it was kind of gross in there. Now, that's a real disaster, isn't it? I'll never use the word lightly again. Anyway, the point I'm trying to make is this. When women lose their rag, they'll throw anything at you. Knives, hatchets, hammers, you name it. Mr. Naruhodo, you mustn't think that all women are so short-tempered and unrefined. No, I wasn't thinking that. Throwing household objects at people is, well, it's so uncivilized. She throws me! At least attack with honor, using a bow or the like. I'm at a loss. Susato, no. Susato, yes? What? Attack? Who are you going to attack? Never mind. Anyway, this man's words could be rather significant, I think. Alright, we'll come back to the bow and arrow thing later, if I dare. Okay, I'm maybe gonna... I save it every change or dang it.
Hold it!
Let's see. Your wife really threw a kitchen knife at you? That's right. She was chopping meat with it. Had a tiny edge on it, believe me. Still, it's all memories, isn't it? It started with that smile she threw me when we were courting. And since then, the list of things she's thrown at me has grown along with our relationship. I'm not sure if that's a good relationship, dude. It was a cup, then a glass, then a pot, a kettle, a chair, a wardrobe, a cooker, a bathtub. How strong is this man's wife? Who did he marry? Your wife must be even beefier than you. No. And things came to a head last week when she threw me. See? Still, she's not so bad when she's calmed down. She's a little sweetheart, really. I'm so happy for you. If you want to know what I think this whole idea of ladies first that we're so obsessed with in this country was thought up by some clever lads who'd been tossed in the Thames a few too many times by their wives. Maybe. That's a very interesting theory. What a terrible thought. I believe this is what they call Stockholm Syndrome. On the face of it, this juror's statement just sounds like a really extreme anecdote. But I think it might turn out to be an extremely powerful weapon. A weapon I might be able to use to make the jurors accept an alternative explanation here. Not so. Well, she did say.
Objection!
Those two statements clearly have a deep, significant connection. Good grief. You mean they don't contradict each other? Explain, counsel, at once. Juror number 2, do you think, perhaps, that this could be one such novel alternative? Oh my, whatever do you mean? An alternative explanation as to how the victim was stabbed in the back. What are you talking about? We've demonstrated that the 4th book, The Lion's Pride, that was found at the scene of the crime, originated in Mr. Garadeb's room on the top floor of his house. Therefore, it's equally possible that some other object besides the book could have found its way from the Garadeb household to the street below. Huh? What's that now? After all, Mrs. Garadeb could have thrown any number of different objects at her husband. Isn't that right, juror number 4? What are you insinuating now, you little beanpole? I'm beginning to think that ever since the true origins of this book came to light, perhaps just had a feeling this might be what happened. Now you listen here, Eastern what now? As the foreman of this jury, I demand a straight answer. You give us this yarn about some other object making its way out of the house, but what? What was it? The knife, my dude. The knife. I'm really taking a big gamble here. That was a bold accusation to make, but I haven't any real evidence to back it up. But I'm certain that at the very least this warrants further investigation. Alright, Mr. Foreman, I'll try to explain the defense's theory. The other object that found its way from the Garrett household to the scene of the crime was... the knife.
Take that!
Juror number 4, Mrs. Garrett. What? What now? I must apologize in advance for this. But I need you to confirm something else for the court. This knife. Have you ever seen this knife before? Good lord, counsel, what on earth are you doing? That's just the weapon that was lodged in the victim's back, man. You know, I should use Susato as a reference for things. She's very pretty. My lord, remember that when the victim was attacked, Mr. and Mrs. Garrett were in the throes of an argument. Mrs. Garrett was hurling anything she could at her husband, who'd been backed up against the window. A window that had been opened to clear the smoke, and through which a book sailed to land at the crime scene. This is actually solid logic. You can't seriously believe that? The book was found in the victim's grasp. Are you saying that it flew out of the window and across the street to land neatly in her hand? Huh. Even my missus hasn't got a name like that. Yes, I admit, there are many details we don't yet understand. But that's the point. That's precisely why. We must not allow this trial to end. Not right now. Oh my. Mrs. Garrett, your answer, please. Have you seen this knife before or not? Oh! Oh dear. Oh. My lord. I wish to change my decision. I'm a woman of my word, after all. Thank you, madam. Yes, I agree. I certainly didn't see this coming, but... I just don't think it would be right for this trial to come to an end now with so many unanswered questions. Now you care! Mr. Foreman! I'd have to agree. Even the guy who just wants to go home. Not that I think the granny did it, mind. Yes, you know what? I'm not quite happy about this at the moment either. Yeah, I can't say I'm entirely surprised. All together now, ladies and gents. And there we go. We did it. Kind of. Trial can now continue. Oh, congratulations, Mr. Naruhodo. So, as a result of the defense's summation examination, a number of jurors' leanings have changed. 2 jurors called guilty against 4 now calling innocent. Accordingly, the opinion of this court is divided. And this trial will continue. They're gonna say, like, to be continued again. As if it does that again, no, I swear to God. Now then, Lord Van Zeeks, how does the prosecution wish to proceed? With a drink first. This trial is rapidly descending into a farce. Like a corked wine, the first few sips are bitter enough. But what follows is so repugnant, it's good for nothing save the gutter. If I may, Lord Van Zeeks, the defense has just put forward a credible alternative explanation for what happened. Credible? Is that your considered opinion, Mr. Foreman? The defense's argument is a joke to which I barely know how to respond, but let me start by insisting that you must all familiarize yourselves better with the relative positions of those places being discussed. This man is incredibly verbose. This really puts my one brain cell to the test. What do you mean by that? What's his angle this time? It should already be more than apparent that between the crime scene and the Gyaradev household runs a rather wide street, Briar Road. It is kind of weird. A long way. Which means that the distance from the Gyaradev house to the scene is some, yes, 15 yards? Let me see. 15 yards? That's around 14 meters. Honestly, gonna be real. Neither of those units of measurement really helps me. But even if you told me in feet, I would be like, huh? 14 meters? Oh, that's a little farther than I'd imagined. And, as you ladies and gentlemen of the jury rightly noted as having portentous significance, the fourth book was found in the victim's clutches. In other words, the smoldering book, wantonly hurled by the lady of the house, traveled some 15 yards to land on the opposite side of the road, neatly between the collapsed victim's fingers and thumb. Is that your final conclusion, my learned and deluded friend? And did the jackknife follow a near-identical trajectory to plunge into the middle of the victim's back? This fantasy is somewhat stretching the notion of having a bad day for the victim, I think. Even those pathetic serialized detective stories have more believable plots. Oof. There's nothing I can say to that. That prosecutor left the sound of his own voice. Miss Susato. Serialized detective stories are pathetic, are they? How dare he? Maybe let's pick our battles here. My lord, might I be allowed to speak? As judicial assistant, you may speak for the defense, yes. Go ahead. The prosecution may consider the idea of fantasy, but what the defense has postulated was believable enough to persuade the jury to change its leading. And as such, the court has a duty to explore this alternative explanation as thoroughly as possible. To that end, juror number 4, Mrs. Joan Gyaradev, must be called to testify and submit to cross-examination. Saints alive! A cross-examination of a juror? Well, that's an idea. Order indeed. Well, this is highly irregular. It is unprecedented for a member of the jury to be summoned to the witness stand.
Objection!
Everything we do is weird. Okay. And unnecessary. Lord Van Zieks. There are already witnesses in the stand whose testimony the defense may further cross-examine. If my learned friend's farcical theory has any worth in it, has any truth in it, then both a burning book and a jackknife must have been flown to the sky before this couple's eyes. And we must assume they will be able to testify accordingly. He's like asleep at all times. But okay. What say you, witnesses? Yes, Constable Rolly Beat reporting for duty. He's alive. Well. Good morning, officer. Sorry for dozing until now. I haven't slept for a month on account of a villain who's appeared on my beat. A month? Oh, they are so heroic, these London bobbies. Patricia, my darling, I've been neglecting you, but no more. Oh, Rolly, my hero. Yeah. Very well. I hereby reject the defense's request. Oh. And order the witnesses in the stand to testify again. State forthwith before the court any details pertaining to the defense's alternative explanation of events. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. This case has nothing to do with Mr. and Mrs. Gyaradev. Believe me, a London Bobby is good for his word. You see, the windows on the top floor of the Gyaradev house are top-hinged casements. Obviously, if anything had been thrown out of the window, we would have seen it. I did leave the scene to go and fetch help, but my trusty Rolly was there to make sure nothing was disturbed. Wasn't he face down in the snow, sleeping? I didn't take my eye off the crime scene for one moment. Nothing strange to report on that front. I feel like that's wrong. But okay. Well, this is quite startling. Top hinged casement windows. That detail was not in the police report, Constable. Ah, yes. Sorry about that. I must have been a little drowsy. You cannot excuse your sins with drowsiness every time, Constable. No, no indeed. Sorry, but... What exactly is a top-hinged casement window? And you... You cannot excuse your ignorance with such trite remarks, my learned friend. Of course. Sorry. I found it, Mr. Naruhodo. Cast your mind back to the windows in Mr. and Mrs. Garradeb's room. Alright, I'll try. There they be. So the window opens in order to allow air to circulate inside the house. But as it's a top-hinged casement window, it swings open along the upper edge, you see? Well, that does kind of put a bit of a hole in the theory of I threw it across the street. What do you think? I'm glad you rectified your ignorance. A casement window's most prominent feature is its stay, a metal bar which prevents the window from being opened beyond a certain amount. It prevents it opening? This is all news to me. Absolutely correct. In other words, if a book or knife were to have been thrown through the open window, it would have clattered against the pane and fallen straight down to the pavement below. That's the thing. But I don't remember how... Map. Do we not have the map anymore? Go? No, we haven't. Right here. That's the thing. Is... The lodgings are here. But she was found here. But... As we're just establishing, the knife could not have... And the book couldn't have been thrown from here to here. I don't remember how this goes. No. You see the problem then? Good. Your education in Windows is complete. Thank you. I feel so much smarter now. There was never any possibility of either the book or the knife traveling 15 yards over the road. That is, unless the window pane had been shattered, something we've discounted already. We have seen the window, it is intact. That can't be. Did you see that, Rolly? The young Japanese man just collapsed in agony. Yes, my darling, I saw it. I saw how he crumbled before me. What? How is this happening? I haven't even started the cross-examination yet, and already my argument's been destroyed. Counsel, if you could drag yourself upright again, the court awaits your cross-examination. There, Ryunosuke, you can do it. My lord. Oh, good. Another desperate situation. As always, the secret to every Ace Attorney game, press every statement ever.
Hold it!
How can you say that for certain? A very good question. And the answer is this. It has the noble founding principles of the force written on it as a reminder to all us policemen of our sworn duty. He showed us that before, didn't he? Did he? I can't say I remember. Throw enough shit at the wall and eventually someone will stick. To patrol the streets of London town and uphold the peace of the common man. That's what the job's all about. And that is why I can stand here today beside my long-suffering wife and tell you a Bobby's good for his word. While rubbing my tired eyes, admittedly. You're so manly. Oh, Rolly. Of course I am. Oh. No, none of this is what I meant. I meant, how can you say for certain that this case has nothing to do with Mr. and Mrs. Garadeb? Ah, I see. You should have said so earlier. Yes, well, so could you answer the question? That was a waste of time then. Absolutely. I will answer it to the fullest of my abilities. There's a surprising reason why Mr. and Mrs. Garadeb's domestic dispute can't be related to this case. But before I get into that, just one thing. Yes? I'd very much like you and all your countrymen to understand the great British institution of Scotland Yard. So I hope you'll take back some tales of us London bobbies and how we uphold our guiding principles. I wasn't planning on going back just yet. I've only just arrived here. So to that end, I'd be happy to lend you my warrant card for your perusal. But I must warn you, you won't be able to get through it without shedding a few tears. Thank you. I'll try. Ooh, well, let's see what that says. Hang on, I'm gonna read it. A policeman will strive to preserve the peace within his allotted beat. Wait. Is that within his beat? I thought his beat was like across the street or something. I thought it was a little bit of a different spot. A patrolling officer is expected to walk 20 miles uphill both ways around his beat every day for the furtherance of community relations. Any crimes fall under the jurisdiction of the beat in which they are discovered. When a crime is discovered on his beat, a policeman must assist with initial investigations and help detectives. That's it. Noted.
Hold it!
By which you mean they don't open fully, is that correct? Yes, sir. Yes, sir. They're just there to allow a bit of air through the house, you see, so they're restricted as to how much they open. And therefore, anything thrown out of the window from inside the room would simply strike the pane and fall into the street directly below. For clarity, allow me to mark the map. Here is the location where objects would have fallen. I'm thinking. The gear in my brain is turning. Yes, directly opposite the scene of the crime on the other side of the rather wide road. Would it have been so hard for somebody to mention this top-hinged casement thing before? Well, I have another question for you, Constable. And what would that be? How do you even know? Why would you have any idea what sort of windows Mr. and Mrs. Garadeb's house is furnished with? Ah, well, that's very simple. You see, I helped with the investigation yesterday. Hi?
Excuse me.
Do you have something to add, Mrs. Beat? Sorry? You look, well, delighted. Is there some particular reason for that? Oh, I was just remembering, that's all. We really were so lucky. Lucky? What do you mean? Well, of course I feel terrible for the poor woman who was attacked. Don't misunderstand me, please. We were just so lucky it didn't happen on Rolly's beat. It was so close, you see. Oh, I hadn't realized. Okay, I guess that. My bad. Oh yes, that street, Briar Road, that's the boundary between Rolly's beat and the next one. Isn't that right, my love? And he's sleeping. Are you thinking what I'm thinking? Because I'm having a thought, but I don't know if Chad is having the same thought. Although I have played this game a couple times. He's so good. Constable Beat. Huh? Yes, that's right. That's the reason I was helping out with interviewing the occupants of the Garadeb household yesterday. Their house is on my beat, you see. That really was cutting it close then. Constable, I wonder if you could clarify something. If the Garudeb household is on your beat, does that mean that the pavement next to it is as well? Outside Mr. Garudeb's house? Yes, ma'am. The pavement on that side of the road is part of my beat. I see. I was unaware of that. Just think, if the woman had been attacked just on the other side of Briar Road, we would never have been able to go for that meal to celebrate our wedding anniversary. But that's the life of a Bobby, after all. Extraordinary people are Bobbies, tirelessly working for the benefit of all Londoners. Do you know what I think? I think it was the good Lord's way of rewarding my Rolly for all his hard work. Don't you think so, my darling? That must be it, Pat, my love. That must be it. Having opinions. I think perhaps we should make sure we have that information officially on record. Leave it to me, Mr. Naruhodo. I'll take care of it immediately. Case file's information has been updated. And now it's my turn, I think.
Hold it!
I'm thinking. Are you thinking? But according to my notes here, the sun had gone down already and it was dark. Oh, but Rolly and I were strolling along, gazing at the night sky and looking for our lucky star. Alright. The star that will guide us to eternal happiness. Can it guide you to answer the question? If a flaming book had cut across the sky in front of us, it would have lit up like a shooting star. I like how she openly admitted that the woman was attacked outside of her beat's jurisdiction. Yeah, that's the thing. Well, I think we're getting to more clarification on the whole his beat, but not on his beat. Because their house is on his beat. But if it's their property, which we proved that it's their property in her hands and her back, then I get there. And if I'd seen a shooting star, I would have made a wish upon it. Let Rolly be an inspector, I would have said. 3 times at least. Of course, what with the smog and everything, we couldn't actually see any stars. That's sad. I live somewhere that, generally speaking, like, you can get some really clear nights here. Very nice. In short, are you trying to say that neither a book nor a knife crossed the sky before you? Yes, sir, that is correct. Sir, saw. I can't, like, do the accent, so I keep skipping over it. Yes, sir. As sure as the night sky in London is starless. I didn't say that. It certainly seems like they're telling the truth. And then we saw the poor woman fall to the ground, so we ran straight over to help her. I did leave the scene to go and fetch help.
Hold it!
Yes, you said that you went to a nearby police box to fetch another officer, is that right? That's right, yes. If it had been on Rolly's beat, I would have known exactly where I was going, of course. Don't feel bad, my love. You can't be expected to know the location of every police box on every beat. So Rolly told me the way. Only, I sort of got a little lost on the way. Patricia, my darling, that's why I love you. Your terrible sense of direction is bewitching to me. I don't know, 12 years my bad sense of direction attractive. Is that a good thing that I'm lost constantly? Thank you for the headbats. I feel like that's a no. Oh, please. So, I suppose I was gone for about 15 minutes. You can do a lot of things in 15 minutes. Well, like I said, my Rolly was at the scene the whole time, making sure nothing was disturbed. I had to ask. It was just a relatable moment, kind of. I was off duty at the time, of course, but a true Bobby is never really off duty. Of course not.
Hold it!
Didn't take your eyes off the scene for a moment, huh? Nothing to report? Like our favorite gatekeeper from Fire Emblem Three Houses? That's correct, I had my eyes wide open the entire time. Never looked away for a second. I could have sworn in the previous testimony she said he was like face down. But it's fine. No one else approached the scene and nothing was removed from it. I can swear to that on the yard's honor. Really? That seems a little strange. Beg your pardon? Strange? Seems altogether regular to me. This burnt copy of The Lion's Pride was originally in the Gyarados household. So the question remains, how did it find its way into the hand of the victim? I vaguely remember, but I don't think we'll get to that conclusion quite yet. Can you shed any light on that, seeing as you were at the scene of the crime the entire time? I'm curious. I'm gonna Google something really quickly. Could it be a different copy? I don't think so. One that just happened to be burnt as well? That I doubt. Even if that were possible, why would the victim have been gripping a book like that in her hand? As we can see from this photographic print, she had a bag over her shoulder. Bruh. Good. Well, that book was in the lady's hand from the moment we arrived at the scene. Oh. Wait. This might be the last... We're gonna get to the end of this trial today, I think. I thought this had another investigation part. But... because I googled it to see, because I was like, I thought we investigated one more time, but then we're doing this, and I don't feel like we're investigating again. There's trial part 1, trial part 2. Means we're getting closer. The last chapter is pretty long, though. Book was in the lady's hand from the moment we arrived at the scene. Is that so? There's something about this statement that's not sitting right with me. The two mysteries of how the knife ended up in her back and how that book ended up in her hand. There must be some common thread between them. Alright. Can I ask you something? Please, Mr. Lawyer, sir. Oh, yes, of course. What is it? You're doubting us, aren't you? I can tell. What? I wasn't really... I mean... What's she doing? Please, just because I'm a woman, it doesn't make my testimony any less valuable. I wouldn't say that. I'd more say that you just weren't around for a lot of it, but that's fine. You might just see me as the wife of a policeman, but I'm a woman of my word, I am. I really don't remember ever suggesting that I doubted you. No excuses. I don't want to hear it. My voice will be heard. My lord, you'll let me speak, won't you? Yes, Mrs. Beat, I will allow you to supplement your testimony if you so desire. Stop trying to strangle your husband with that scarf. Sometimes the path of least resistance is the sage one. That's a very loud mutter. I heard that. That Japanese man thinks a policeman's wife's word counts for nothing, does he? I didn't say that. Well, watch out, sir. I might let you get away with something like that, but my Rolly won't. He looks like a puppet. Duly noted, Mrs. Beat. Please, I humbly ask you to continue. What could she possibly be about to say, I wonder? I know what I saw, my eyes never let me down. My sense of direction is a little off sometimes, though.
Hold it!
Press that. Continue. Mrs. Beat, nobody is questioning what you told us. I saw it, I did. That evening, I saw it clearly. That little Eastern man with the whiskers and the funny curved back slinking away from the scene. And I know what I didn't see as well. I didn't see any flaming books or knives flying through the sky. all very clear. You also mentioned something about having a poor sense of direction? Oh, yes, well, it's a little embarrassing, really. Rude. I'm always ending up at the wrong place when I've made arrangements to meet Rolly. He gets ever so cross. What you gotta say about it? Constable Beat, is there a problem? Hello? Huh? Huh? No problem. Did your wife's remark just now bring something to mind, perhaps? Oh, well, in a way, yes. I was just remembering that the same thing happened that evening is all. You mean Mrs. Beat lost her way? On the night of the incident? Well, you see, I sent her off to find a police box in the next beat over from mine. But she was gone a fair bit longer than what I was expecting. I thought she'd be back inside 10 minutes, but my darling was gone a good 15. Oh, Broly, you're such a tease. A tease? But the reason I was so long was because of the bouquet, silly. A bouquet? Sorry, what bouquet are you all talking about? Oh, it was a present for our wedding anniversary. Broly's so romantic. He saved up for it with farthings, pennies he found in the gutter while doing his rounds. What a guy. Yes, how romantic. I'd forgotten all about it until just now. Had you, my darling? Oh, yes. But that was just between us. No talking about it to anyone else, darling. You have to promise... Really? Oh. What was that all about? Constable Beat looked very obviously troubled during that exchange. Around here. No? Nothing of the sort. I'm afraid I can't offer any useful insight, Mr. Naruhodo. But I'm quite sure of one thing. You have to ask Mrs. Beat about the bouquet. Mrs. Beat, this bouquet you just mentioned. I'd like you to add details about it to your testimony, please. Oh, really? Yes, I'd love to. He just said not to talk about it, like 5 seconds ago. What happened was I dropped my bouquet and ended up losing my way for a while.
Hold it!
You mean you dropped the bouquet at the scene of the crime? Yes, that's right. Oh, I was so upset. When we ran over and saw it was a woman with a knife in her back. I can't put that head nuts. Happens every stream, man. It's hard to make the words go. I was so shocked I dropped the bouquet Rolly gave me. It was in a dark spot where the streetlights weren't casting any light, so I didn't notice at first. And then you went to the police box to report it to the policeman whose beat it was on? Yes, and I came back to the scene together with the other constable, you see. That's when I spotted my bouquet again. But the funny thing was, when I went to pick it up, it was nowhere near the victim's body at all. In case you need reminding, Mrs. Beat, the victim is not deceased. I was all flustered for a moment before I heard a voice calling me from the other side of the road. Other side of the road, you say? Your husband, presumably? That's right. Silly me, I'd gone over to the wrong side of the street. Although I'm going to blame the bouquet this time. I can't think how it got there. I really can't. So the bouquet somehow moved from one side of Briar Road to the opposite. Curious indeed. Isn't it? But the worst of it is, I forgot to pick the bouquet up again when we left the scene. That beautiful rose really bought me. With that change from the gutter he spent so long collecting. By bouquet, do you perhaps mean this sorry solitary rose? That is not a bouquet, and he is correct. Oh! Yes, that's it. That's the bouquet Rolly bought me for our anniversary, with old bits of change he found in the gutter. Maybe just call it a rose. Tell us, Lord Benzeeks, where did you come by the flower? Oh, that does remind me. I do still have flowers in my hair in my next model, and I haven't been drawn yet. I might ask her about those. According to the report by the police officer in charge of the crime scene investigation, could be a later thing too, though. It was found on the edge of the pavement in front of the Garadeb household. They're cute like you. Thank you. Wait, the flowers in my hair? Flowers in my hair are excellent. And I'm glad that this flower detail is on most things. There are different flowers, though, in the new one. I'm excited. They offer a bit more contrast than the current ones. I will still use this model, I swear. But I'm gonna use that one a lot for a while. For quite a while. But that was found on the opposite side of the street, huh? In front of the Garadeb's house. Although it wasn't noticed until the morning as it lay where the street lamps cast no light. Like she said. It was believed to be of no relevance to the case since it was found on the opposite side of the thoroughfare. Oh, thank you, sir. Thank you. Can I have it back now, please? No, I think for good measure this rose should be added to the court record as evidence. Oh. The anniversary bouquet has been entered into the court record. But it's a symbol of our love. I want it back after the trial. Do you hear me? I want it back. Good grief. Rest assured that I shall do my very best not to forget, Mrs. Beat. Can we investigate it? Hang on. Let's save, because that was a lot of stuff. And then let's look at it. It's very stylish paper the flowers wrapped in, isn't it? Newspaper, dude. It's newspaper. It's just an old newspaper, Mr. Naruhodo. Oh. I suppose it's because I'm not used to seeing English print. It looks so exotic to me. Ah. I see. Something wrong? Oh, no. I was just thinking that if you wrapped a stone-baked sweet potato in English newspaper, it might look like some sort of fancy cake. Ah, Suzato-san, you do love your cakes. What did that have to do with anything? An English rose. Such a beautiful flower. Ah, this is a rose, is it? I've never seen one before. When I have roses, which is not often because flowers are very expensive, and I have to buy them for myself. Roses don't seem to live as long in my house. I never remember what type of flower it is, I just know it when I see it. And even then I'm not actually 100% sure. But I have definitely had flowers that are like incredibly long-lived for what they are. Do you not take an interest in flowers, Mr. Naruhodo? Also, never ask me what type of flowers are in my hair. And, because I don't know. Because I'm, like, I think you kinda asked once, and I was like, I don't know. I wouldn't say that exactly, but I do know 3 types at least. Gosh, 3? Yes, plum blossom, peach blossom, and cherry blossom. Perhaps you should consider branching out? Learning some that aren't fruit tree based, perhaps? Anything else about this? Well, I guess that's it. Well, that was a good use of my time. Okay, so you didn't look at... Oh, I should have pressed that statement. What do you think? The whole idea of an invisible attacker has been troubling me all along, but I believe I'm starting to get a picture of what really happened here now. Do you know? Because I know. The 4th book that had no business being at the scene of the crime made me sure that Mrs. Garadeb was hiding something from us. But it's becoming increasingly clear that someone else has been hiding something from us as well. I think I may be already be armed with everything I need to strike a decisive blow here. This time, it's going to expose the whole truth about this mysterious affair. I want to press that last statement. Okay. Didn't take my eyes to the crime scene. They're just gonna be the same thing. Nothing to report. Yeah, that's the thing. Oops. Seems weird. I'm curious, does Sylvia have the vision? Yeah, let's use this again. I thought it wasn't for some reason. What's this statement? Oh my god. Just keep that real quick. Alrighty. The windows. Let me save. I know I was ready, but I'm gonna save it anyways. That is my most redundant save yet, but it's okay. Because I think it's either the rose or the map. Or technically this. Because what's weird is this is on the opposite side of the street. Oh, this is the correct one. You claim, Constable B, there was nothing to report in the 15 or so minutes you were guarding the scene. But that cannot be. What do you mean to say? In your testimony just now, Mrs. B, you explained to the court that when you arrived back at the scene of the crime with the policeman assigned to that beat, the bouquet you had dropped at the victim's side was no longer anywhere nearby.
Objection!
Yes, on the opposite side of Briar Road to where the victim was attacked. But considering the size of that meager bouquet, if a single sorry bloom can be so described, no doubt it was blown in the wind across the street back into the gutter where it belongs. Meager?
Objection!
What if that were the case? Why did Constable Beat not testify to the fact? Ooh. Indeed. No one else approached the scene and nothing was removed from it. Constable Beat swore to that on Scotland Yard's honor. But the bouquet belonged to me. Has nothing to do with the case. That's why Rolly didn't mention it, I'm sure. No, because sadly, it's not only your bouquet we're talking about here. More than one thing in this case is mysteriously the wrong way around. What are you talking about? Think about it. Besides Mrs. Beat's bouquet, there's Mr. Garadev's book. Mr. Garadev's copy of The Lion's Pride, which was thrown out of the window by his wife, would have struck the pane of the casement window and landed here on the west side of the street. And yet, it was actually found here on the opposite side of the road in the victim's hand. Meanwhile, according to the testimony we've heard, Mrs. Beat's bouquet, Rose, should have been dropped here at the scene of the crime on the east side of the street, but in fact, it was actually found here on the opposite side of the road in front of Mr. and Mrs. Garadeb's house. There's no logical explanation for those things, unless somebody deliberately moved them. Or maybe didn't move something. What are you trying to say? The way you're talking, it sounds like you think my Rolly's done something wrong. Don't you listen to a word that scrawny lawyer says. Welcome back to the land of the living. Wittering on about books and bouquets, why should we care? It's nitpicking, that's what it is. Oh good, Mrs. Garadeb's come around. You might call it nitpicking, Mrs. Garadeb, but deliberately meddling with the scene of a crime is a criminal offense. It's called, tampering, Mr. Naruhodo. But the person responsible for this tampering cannot admit to it. For a very subtle but compelling reason.
Objection!
Tampering? You've barely heard the term before. It might have been the first time 3 seconds ago, you don't know. Tell us, my learned friend, who would possibly have had cause to carry out such an elaborate deception? Yes, there is someone who tampered with the scene of the crime in that evening. All the evidence and all the testimony points to that one particular person. Who was alone at the scene of the crime? Counsel, I must demand that you substantiate this conjecture. You're saying is responsible for tampering with the scene of the crime? Rolly beat.
Take that!
Obviously, there's only one person it could have been. Constable Rolly Beat, it was you. What? A policeman? A member of Scotland Yard? What nonsense. Why would my Rolly do something like that? There's no one straighter than my husband. No Bobby works more tirelessly for the people of London. He's, like... He's not gonna work for them much longer if you be yanking on him like that. Mrs. B. You said in your testimony that your husband asked you to go to a nearby police box to fetch the officer on duty. The 15 minutes that you were absent from the scene is the only opportunity anyone had to tamper with it. You're making it up. It's all nonsense. It's all lies. What about that Japanese man with the whiskers? I bet it was him. He did it.
Objection.
Kind of scrawny. If that was true, Constable Beat would have seen him do it. Oh. And forgive me for pointing it out, but when you dropped your bouquet, Mrs. Beat, it was after the defendant had fled the scene. Well...
Objection.
First you make accusations about the landlord and his wife, and now you incriminate a policeman as well. But your accusations lack one very important thing. Evidence? You claim the crime scene was tampered with. But there's only one reason anyone would commit such a reckless crime. To hide something. Well... Now, if we think back... Any crimes fall under the jurisdiction of the beat in which they're discovered. When a crime is discovered, a police must assist with initial investigations. And you know what day it was? It was his wedding anniversary. My husband and I just happened to be there, that's all. So why would we have anything to hide? Doesn't make sense. You've offered no motive for this alleged tampering. And until you do, your accusations are nothing but empty threats. Constable Beat had a very good reason for wanting to tamper with the scene of the crime. That's the key to this entire affair. Mr. Naruhodo, have you managed to solve this mystery? Counsel, you have made a very serious accusation against a London police officer. If you are mistaken, I'm sure I need not point out that your reputation as a lawyer will be irrevocably damaged. With that stark warning in mind, you will now explain to the court the motive for this alleged tampering. FaceTime this quick. Don't mind me. Yes, my lord. Just in case. Constable Beat's motive for tampering with the crime scene was to hide where the victim was. Because the victim fell to the ground. That is what this Bobby had to cover up at all costs. What? Where the victim fell? You mean where she was attacked? What are you talking about? We told you at the very start, didn't we? On the pavement of Briar Road. We saw it happen, remember? It was right here, as if anyone didn't already know. That's certainly what everybody has been led to believe. But in fact, that isn't where the victim was stabbed at all. What? 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 I'm beginning to wonder where this tumultuous trial will end, Counsel. If that's your assertion, then the court is dying to know, my Nipponese friend. Where are you proposing that the crime actually took place that evening? You know, it's annoying sometimes to click on these things. It should be fun, but you know, always just.
Take that!
But that's on the opposite side of the road? I don't understand. On the evening in question, Mr. Garadev's book fell directly down from the open window above. And your bouquet, Mrs. Beat, never moved at all. What did move was the scene of the crime itself. Good gracious. A lot of stuff to move.
Objection.
Perhaps you haven't been listening to the ample testimony the court has heard. But these witnesses both saw the moment the attack took place. Did they, though? That's That's right. I saw it with my very own eyes. It was 5 o'clock in the evening and already dark. There was the typical London fog on the ground. When you saw the incident unfold and ran to the victim's aid, that was actually on the west side of Briar Road. No, that's not true. It can't have been. Constable Beat then arranged for you to be absent for a while by sending you for help. And during the 15 minutes you were away, he transplanted the crime scene. He moved all the things shown in this print, the victim herself, the 4 books. He moved everything, in fact, to the pavement on the east side of Briar Road. Extraordinary. But the constable overlooked one thing. What? What did he overlook? The bouquet, I presume. We can call it that. Exactly. The prosecution told the court just a few minutes ago about the discovery of the rose bouquet. Lord Van Dijk said it wasn't noticed until the morning as it lay where the street lamps cast no light. Yes, it couldn't be seen in the dark, obviously. Which is why it was only the bouquet that was found in its original position on the pavement on the west side of Briar Road. And that is the defense's theory about what really happened that evening. How do you respond, Constable Rolly Beat? Well, I'm very sorry. I didn't mean to nod off again, but I haven't slept properly in a month. Did I miss anything important? Oh, Rolly. It isn't true, is it? What that lawyer said is all lies, isn't it? I know it is, because you're the most upstanding, righteous man I know. I had a dream. A terrible dream. All the things I did that night. Everything come out. Everything exposed. Only, it seems, it wasn't a dream at all. Good golly. Order indeed. What on earth is the meaning of all this? Oh, Rolly, why? Why would you do something like this? Bro, what? That's why when I said at the start of this one, we'll get there. Moving a corpse is a criminal offense, isn't it? She's still not dead. She lived. That aside, wishing the victim dead should be one too. Constable, explain yourself. Why would you do this? As a respected member of Scotland Yard, your duty is to protect the good people of London town. I can't say. What? It's okay, I can say it for him, I know. I really am ever so sorry about all this. For damaging the Yard's reputation. For everything. I have a possible explanation. For why, on that particular evening, Constable Beat felt compelled to move the scene of the crime. I can think of one reason. What? How could you possibly know? You, a foreigner, presuming to understand the mind of a Scotland Yard policeman? And yet, Lord Van Zieks, it is this foreigner who has uncovered the startling truth of the matter thus far. I believe it would be beneficial to the court to hear this extraordinary young lawyer's theory. Oh, he called me extraordinary. Counsel for the defense, if you please. Yes, my lord. Now then, I think you had better show us some evidence. I think I'd better see your girlfriend. It's gonna be in the pocketbook, but save it anyway. Compulsively. I must. At once, my lord. England, Japan, makes no difference where you come from. Human emotions are the same. And I think I have a fairly good idea of the feelings behind this man's actions. Gives away the motive for his unthinkable actions. Oh, I could save it right here. Hang on. I just do that. It's either the rose for his wife or the warrant card. Also, thank you for the hydrate. I'm gonna do the warrant card first. It's a warrant card. I wonder if either of those would have been acceptable. Because, like, the reason he gave her the rose is the same. Also, did I say thank you for the hydrate? I don't know anymore. I realize that I'm a foreigner in this land, and I've only just arrived from Japan. Which is why all this information about London's so-called bobbies is completely new to me. I've learned that, that though honorable, patrolling the beat is the most demanding work in the world, for example. Keeping the peace, looking after the citizens on his beat in all kinds of ways. There's no doubt that the young Bobby is charged with a great deal to do each day, certainly. But for Constable Beat, the day in question was special. Special? How? On account of this bouquet, my lord. Oh yes! It was our very first wedding anniversary. Constable Beat had worked so hard to be able to afford this simple gift for his wife. I was so looking forward to taking her out for a celebratory meal when he and Mrs. Beat stumbled upon a crime along Briar Road. When he saw that shadowy figure through the fog collapse on the pavement ahead of them, what must have gone through the man's mind? What indeed? Just so that one particular day, I was looking forward to celebrating my wedding anniversary. Mrs. Beat puts up with a lot being married to a Bobby like me. I wanted to show my dear wife how much I care. This is the warrant card that Constable Beat offered to lend to me earlier. Inside, among the rules for patrolling policemen, it says, when a crime is discovered on his beat, a policeman must assist with initial investigations and help detectives. Aha! Constable Beat. Is that or is that not the reason why you moved the whole scene of the crime that day? Yes. He just wanted to celebrate with his wife. Everything you said, it's all right. So that's it. It was all to do with the boundary of your beat. Oh. Exactly. To summarize, the incident actually occurred on Constable Beat's beat. Good gracious. Constable, do you realize the gravity of what you've done? It was the first time since I became a copper that I'd ever cursed God. Stay close to me, Pat. The criminal could still be lurking somewhere. As we ran over to the scene, I had every intention of doing my duty as a police officer. We've got to report this to the station as quickly as possible. But then it dawned on me. I realized where we were, where the victim was lying, and what that meant for me. When a crime is discovered on his beat, a policeman must assist with initial investigations and help detectives. Why here? Why did this have to happen here? And why tonight of all nights? Why? It's a copper's job to guard the scene of the crime, so I told Pat she'd have to go to the nearest police box and fetch whoever was on duty there. It was then, when I opened my mouth to speak, it just came out. I couldn't believe the words that were coming out of my own mouth. This is the next beat to mine, Pat. So you'll have to go to the police box that covers it. Turn right along Meersham Street, and then... all he wanted was to go to dinner with his wife. I'm... I don't know, cry. I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. Oh, Constable. I just wanted... Bro is sad. Just that one night to take my Patricia out to dinner. Oh, Broly. Just that one night. You knew that if the incident was on your beat, your evening of celebration would be ruined. And so you decided to move the entire crime scene outside your jurisdiction. just across the street to the east pavement of Briar Road, which falls under the neighboring beat's care. You see, I thought... Well, I was sure the victim was dead, you see. I beg your pardon? Oh, of course he did. Otherwise, my Rolly would never have left the poor woman on the freezing cold pavement. Ah, I see your meaning now. But God got me back for my sins, didn't he? That's why I missed the rose I bought for Pat. Oh no, Rolly, that was all my fault. I should never have dropped it in such a dark place. I'm so sorry, Rolly. I don't... okay. And can you tell us, Constable, how many books did you move from one side of the road to the other in total? Hmm? Oh, 4 it was. Yes, sir, definitely 4. 3 of them dropped by Mr. Natsume, and the 4th being the one that fell from the window upstairs in the Garrett household, of course. But what made you place that book in the victim's hand? When all the others were scattered haphazardly around, I mean... Oh, well, that's because that's how I found it. How you found it? What do you mean? When we first ran over to the scene, the victim was already holding the book. So, when I moved everything, I made sure it was still in her hand. You're sure it was this book, The Lion's Pride, that the victim was holding? Oh yes, no doubt about it. Interesting. 4th book's information's been updated. I thought it was an open and shut case at the time, you see. There were only the 2 people at the scene, and Pat and me both saw it happen. However which way you looked at it, it had to be the fellow who ran off who'd done it. Thought. I couldn't see the harm, really. I didn't think moving it all over the road would make a jot of difference. I suppose this is it for me now. I've had it. My lord. Yes, Lord Van Zieks? I believe that concludes the cross-examination of the witnesses. Constable, you may withdraw. Mr. Prosecutor, sir. What will become of my Rolly? What will happen to him? For now, you are free to go home. The police will contact you in due course. Please, don't punish my husband. This was all my fault. It's because I'm always moaning at him for coming home late. Leave it now, Pat. Let's go home. I'm tired. Alright then. One last thing, Constable. Go. Let this be a lesson to you. In a criminal investigation, every detail matters, however insignificant it may seem to you. Yes. Carve that lesson in your mind. And never again make the mistake of tampering with the scene of a crime. Huh? Never again, sir? You mean to say... Leave now. This trial is not yet over. Close, though. Well, farewell to the beats. Well, quite a startling revelation, I must say. Whoever thought of a third party transplanting the entire scene of a crime like that? Indeed, my lord. Nevertheless, there are some immutable facts here. Principally, that the accused, Mr. Soseki Natsume, is the only person who could possibly have committed this crime.
Objection!
No. No, I disagree. Now that we know the true scene of the incident, there is someone else. Another person who could be responsible for the knife in the victim's back. Forgive me for being presumptuous, but I believe the prosecution is probably well aware of this possibility already. Lord Van Zieks, is this true? Very well. Name the person, if you will, and if further investigation is warranted... prosecution has no objection to the trial continuing. You know who it is. We gotta. We wanted to talk to her a while ago. The defense would once again like to request the cross-examination of a new witness, my lord. Once again? My assistant made the same request earlier. In order to finally reveal the truth about this case, it's imperative that we cross-examine juror number 4, Mrs. Joan Garadeb. Me? Me? Oh, dearie me.
Objection!
Why are you objecting? You know. That request has already been denied.
Objection!
But he's smart enough to know. But the situation is very different now. Mrs. Garadeb, answer me this. What do you want now, you little toad? Rude. At the time of the incident, you were engaged in a violent argument with your husband, Mr. John Garadeb. In the course of the argument, a minor house fire was ignited, and to clear the smoke from the room, your husband opened a window that looks out over Briar Road. Well, what of it? You threw this book at your husband when he was cornered with his back against the window. Upon striking the pane of the open top-hinged casement window, the book plummeted directly down, finding its way to what we now know to be the true scene of the incident. Yes, and as I said, what of it? During the argument, you were beside yourself with rage. As such, you threw not just books, but anything you could lay your hands on. So, let me ask you one more time, Mrs. Garadeb. This knife, the one removed from the victim's back, have you really never laid eyes on it before? I don't recall it. Seriously? Am I supposed to remember everything I picked up and threw at my husband? And anyway, that man over there in all that regalia said members of the jury needn't testify, didn't he? What are you doing, Luna? Hi. What are you doing? Conveniently, yes.
Objection!
Sorry, my doggo. He's hopping down for something. Bye, Luna. No, I have no recollection of saying that at all, juror number 4. Oh! Make no mistake. You jurors are not special in any way. You are not immune to the judicial process. If you know something about this knife, madam, let the truth come out. What? But that's just a common or garden knife. It could have come from anywhere. We have several like that at home. If one went missing, how would you expect me to know? What's that? Are you joking? What are you saying? Please, Mrs. Garadeb. Now you listen to me. I refuse to believe all this nonsense. I couldn't bear the thought that I had injured someone. Do you hear? I couldn't bear it. Oh, the poor woman. So, yes, I want evidence. I want to see hard evidence if you're going to insist on this being my fault. Let's just say real quick, I don't remember what the evidence is. The knife itself? Anyway. Oh, is there anything, like, special about this knife? You can just... Nothing super identifiable here. If it's not the knife, then it'd be the book itself. You're going to have to prove to me that I threw that knife, if that's what you think. Come along now, chop chop. Do your worst. Well, Mr. Naruto? If I had evidence like that, believe me, I would have thrown it at her already. Then take the stand, juror. Oh? The prosecution does not object to the defense's request to cross-examine this woman. Thank you, Lord Van Zieks. I'm going to have to testify? Juror number 4. As I'm sure you will appreciate, having observed it with your own eyes today, witness testimony can lead to the most extraordinary truths being unearthed. Truths of which the witnesses themselves may not have even been aware. There's a dog in my lap. Oh, dearie me. So I demand your full and unadulterated testimony, Mrs. Garadeb. Pet her, I am. She's getting scratches. Hi. My tracking is all messed up. It would be the dog. And mark my words, in this court of law today, we shall extract the truth. Luna is the best girl. I don't know. Back to talking about my dog. Sorry. Alright, what are you doing? You gonna sit? Do you concur, counsels? Hello. Certainly, my lord. Hi, Puppin. You're gonna hop down now. You get your pets, and now you're gonna leave. And pretend like I didn't fight you at all. Oh, that's what I'm hoping for, my lord. Gonna go lay down. Come on, hop up. I know. This is such a strange feeling. For the first time since arriving in this country, it actually feels real. I'm here in the Old Bailey, and I'm a lawyer. I have definitely been a lawyer since I got here. Witness, state your name and occupation. Trying to make a nest in the blanket. Oh, yes, my name is Joan Garadeb. And I'm, well, I'm a juror, and such like. Sounds like even she doesn't know if she's a housewife or a maid, or what anymore. The court has decided your testimony is required in order to clarify matters in this case. Do you understand, madam? Yes, my lord. You will tell the court everything that took place in your household in the evening in question. And I warn you, do not attempt to hide the truth. Oh dearie me. Chin up, Joni. Nothing to worry about now. Oh, hello. We put on this participation medal for the occasion. Oh, I didn't know you were here, John. Wasn't only you in the room that day, old thing, was it? Rather think I ought to testify as well, don't you? But what about your knee, dear? Don't you worry about that. Hardly notice it. I'm not the sort of chap to leave a comrade to face disciplinary action alone. Oh, John. I presume you are Mr. John Garadeb? Yes, sir. Former second lieutenant of the 3rd Regiment of the 4th Northumberland... What? What in the what? Second lieutenant of the 3rd Regiment of the 4th Legion. Seen my fair share of action and now living the quiet life, as it were. The quiet life? Were you not engaged in an incendiary battle with your spouse on the day in question? Yeah. Well, yes. Quite. I believe this may represent a first in the proud history of the British court. Calling a juror to the witness stand is unprecedented. However, the court will hear your testimony now, juror number 4, and that of your husband. You will recount clearly and concisely the events in your home at the time of the incident in question. Sir, at once. The Battle of Garadeb. Yes, on the day you're referring to, the wife and I did have a bit of a skirmish. Can't recall the reason now. Don't worry, I remember. Knocked a candlestick over and set fire to the carpet. Soon had it out, though, and got the window open. Meanwhile, I was picking up whatever I could find to throw at him. Plenty of knives around our place. Can't say I noticed if 1 or 2 went missing, I'm afraid. If that belly thing in the victim's back really was one of ours, you'll have a job proving it, I think. Well. It sounds as though it was quite the battlefield in your household that evening. Although an entirely one-sided assault, it seems. The enemy caught us on the hop, sir. Had no choice but to dig in and take defensive measures. To be honest, if the enemy had kept shelling us for another minute, we'd have been toast. Of course, a veteran such as myself is only too aware that on every battlefield you're just a gnat's whisker away from death at any moment. Are we talking about a marital quarrel here? Well, I must say I'm dubious that this testimony will shed any light on the origins of this jackknife. In combat, one's focus narrows such that surroundings are barely noticed. These witnesses may not be able to offer anything more than they have already testified already. This may be a dead end. Van Zeeks may well be right. Well, whatever the chance is, we only have this last cross-examination to uncover the truth, Mr. Naruhodo. Yes, I'm afraid so. We're getting there. Very well, counsel, begin your cross-examination. Just gonna see that real quick. Yep.
Hold it!
I was about to click A and proceed. The reason is what you told us yesterday, I believe. Yes, that's right. If I remember correctly, it all started because of a note that was tucked into the pages of a book belonging to Mr. Garrideb. A rather passionate note, in fact. When Mrs. Garrideb found the note, discovering her husband's little secret. Are we gonna call it her husband's secret? And she gave him a mighty number of slaps across the face for it, too. What a sordid state of affairs. Hell on earth. How would you know? I say, when a chap says he can't recall such things, it's common decency not to drag it all up. And besides, half of it was wide of the mark anyway. A likely story. These waters run very deep. And what transpired next after these multiple blows to the face?
Hold it!
And the fire also spread to some items of furniture, didn't it? The bookcase, my armchair, anything of mine, really. Just so happens there was some bathwater around that evening, so I sloshed that about to put it out. A most precarious situation you put yourself in. Ours is a 3-story townhouse on the west side of the street where the water main isn't connected yet. Have to draw water from a public water pump during the day if you need any, you see. The lodgers are always moaning that they can't get any water at night. Although, that little mustached Japanese man buys water in bottles, I believe. The defendant, Mr. Natsume, you mean? Yes, he receives a stipend for his studies, you know, from his home country. Can you imagine? Being able to brew a pot of tea at all hours? He's obviously very well off. He has like $1. Have you actually seen the state of the man? I believe he uses all of his income to buy books. Well, anyway, the point is, I was able to douse the fire with water, fortunately enough.
Hold it!
Even though the room was on fire. As far as I was concerned at the time, it was more important to extinguish my anger than the flames. What a woman wants to throw, she must throw. That is most certainly not true of a Susato takedown, Mr. Naruhodo. How did she know I was thinking that? So, please cast your mind back and try to remember. Was the knife among the items you threw at your husband that day? In all honesty, I don't recall. But I feel I must point out that I'm no monster. Let me see. Some bread, cabbage, garlic, towel, a sponge, napkin, a tea thing. Do you have something to add, sir? Mr. Garrideb? Huh? Huh? Don't shoot! Sorry. I beg your pardon. Did your wife's remark just now bring something to mind? Nothing of any significance, no. Just that the barrage of projectiles the old thing launched in my direction was somewhat more solid than she implies. Books, bricks, and the fire poker, I seem to recall. Ouch. And the woman's aim is uncanny. She landed a direct hit with every— Good grief, woman, we're not at home now. This is a court of law. Oh, dearie me. ever so sorry, dear. What's she even doing with a teapot in here? Honestly, John, I would never have thrown such things at you, obviously. Well, take a look at this, then. How do you suppose that happened, Your pipe, sir? Had this thing in my hand as usual at the time of the onslaught. Knocked it clean out with one of her soft projectiles, she did. Yes. And when I went to pick the thing up, it was broken in two. I'd like to see a sponge do that sort of damage. I see. Your pipe was broken. It would never have been sent flying unless it was hit by something pretty solid. Anyway, I've managed to bandage the thing up for now. Oh, you are one to exaggerate, aren't you, dear? I wonder what we should make of this account. Could be important. The defense believes Mr. Garrideb's remarks just now to be of great significance.
Objection!
This war veteran's words only tell us one thing. Betray a fiery wife, and pipes, as well as hearts, may be broken. Sentimental wisdom, perhaps, but hardly worthy of adding to the formal testimony. Indeed, common sense, one might say. Might one? In that case, would you at least permit us to examine the pipe, sir? Well, I don't see why not. Oh, dearie me. There you go again, trying to ingratiate yourself with a young lady. Bruh. Very well, the court will accept the gentleman's pipe as evidence. Ooh, let me look at this thing. There's a small nick out of the bowl here, look. It appears to have been made relatively recently. And see how there are little scrapes and dents all over it? It's clearly a well-loved pipe. Yes, you're right. It seems to me recently that being well-loved goes hand in hand with getting some battle scars. This particular nick is catching my eye, though, because it's clearly new. It looks to be in a sorry state with that bandage around it, doesn't it? But for some reason, it feels slightly ominous to me, like it's trying to shout out a warning. Probably because it's the same blue as Mr. Garrideb's dressing gown. I suppose it must have considerable sentimental value to Mr. Garrideb, given that he's gone to the trouble of repairing it like this. Either that, or he can't afford to replace it. Hey! Wait a dang minute, what the heck is this? Oh, something just twinkled inside the chamber of the pipe there. You didn't notice there was something in his pipe? Yes, I saw it. Something stuck in there, I think. Let's turn it over and give it a shake. What's this? It's a tiny fragment of metal. It looks like the tip of a blade or something. The tip of a blade? Surely it couldn't be. Well, I think we got what we needed out of that. So this tiny piece of metal we found in the chamber of his pipe. Looks like the tip of a blade or something. Something wrong. We don't really know. Just something... I can't quite figure out what it is. I know what it is. Whoops, not people. Take a look at this real quick. We can open it, remember? Would you look at that? Oh, look here, Mr. Naruhodo, just at the tip. A small piece of the blade appears to be missing. Wait, part of it's missing? I could be wrong, but I've just got a feeling. You remember this? That's the tiny fragment of metal we found inside Mr. Garrideb's pipe. Yes, and just maybe... Oh my, it's a perfect fit. Somehow I just knew it. We're probably gonna have to go through that all over again. I was just feeling rather disappointed for you that your request was turned down. Oh no, it's fine. Thanks to Susato-san, we have some new evidence to work with. We should examine it carefully. Well, thank you for that rebuttal, Mr. Garrideb. Now if we could return to the crux of the matter. What can you tell the court about the knife used to attack the victim?
Hold it!
Unfortunately, it's definitely your knife. Sorry, would you care to elaborate? Nothing to say, really. Rather partial to a spot of carving, see? Pipes and whatnot. Fishing tackle? You know the sort of thing. I never thought about carving fishing tackle, personally. It's a passion we both share. I like to carve little wooden trinkets, too. And then there's my leatherwork. Sorry to say we're always losing knives about the place, and we have dozens of the things. They sell them at the market sometimes. 20 for the price of 19. Needless to say, I snapped them up. 20 for the price of 19? John prefers to use 2 knives at meal times too, instead of a knife and fork. What? Now, Joan, we don't want people thinking I'm some sort of savage. Here we go again with the scaldings. Why are they being so evasive? I imagine it's because they don't want to believe it. They can't bear the thought that it might have been one of their knives that injured the victim. Which is entirely understandable, of course, but still. Go on with your testimony, witnesses. Sir?
Hold it!
So you have no intention of admitting it was your knife, unless we can produce proof? Pretty sure we can prove it. Even though there is no other credible possibility if Mr. Natsume is innocent?
Objection!
Thank you for the hydrate. Ah. What are you doing then, pup? You wanna go outside then, pup? Hang on. She doesn't usually wander away. I'll be right back. The answer is no. She just wanted to sit on the couch by herself. She's on the couch alone. It has yet to be established that the accused is not responsible for the attack. We're almost done, so we're gonna get to the end of this, and then I will hop off of here and do my other stuff. And sit with the dog. As if I could forget. If only there was some way to know who had handled the knife. But I suppose wizardry like that is just a dream. Perhaps you're thinking of fingerprinting, Mr. Naruhodo. Hello! What? You mean it's not a dream? That sort of wizardry really exists? Whenever people touch anything, they leave behind a unique pattern from their skin. Or so they say. But I can't see anything. There are already countries in the world where these so-called fingerprints can be used as evidence. Lord Strongheart is currently discussing the matter at the Ministry of Justice. Yes, I believe we are rapidly approaching an era of scientific methods of investigation. But for now, we shall have to find an alternative method. Lurking, since I haven't played this yet, I recommend this one so much. This one is so fun. It's very charming. I've only done the first case on the boat. Oh man. You are in for some fun stuff. There's much more. There's so much more. But for now, we shall have to find an alternative method of proving our assertion. That this knife found in the victim's back was originally in Mr. and Mrs. Garadeb's house. Oh, I happen to know. If only I could transplant this whole incident to several years in the future. That's the extent of their testimony, is it? What do you think, Mr. Naruhodo? Well, I think we've heard all this before, to be honest. I can't say I'm particularly confident that we'll be able to prove anything new from this testimony. But, in this cross-examination, it's absolutely essential that we establish how this knife came to be at the scene of the incident. Yes, I know. I'm sure both of them must be feeling very worried. Worried that it was in fact the knife belonging to one of them that caused the victim's injury. If we could find even a tiny shred of evidence to support that theory, it would clinch this trial for us. It would explain everything. Yes, it would. So, for Soseki-san's sake, we must. We must find that last crucial piece of evidence. I found it already. Fine, okay. There's always a bit of dialogue. Is it gonna... I don't know. whatever I can find. Plenty of knives go missing. Alright. So it's either the fragment or the knife itself.
Objection.
I think it's a fragment. Mr. Karadeb, could I ask you to take a good look at this, please? You can ask, but I can't see anything. You can't? You used to call me Dead-Eye Deb back in the regiment, of course, but that was some time ago now. Even when I'm trying to enjoy a large print book by the fire these days, I struggle to tell a B from a D and a P from a Q, to be honest. Oh, he does. Dear me, it's rather wearing being asked about every other letter in every other word. You must... Do you very dizzy? What is that? A tiny scrap of metal? Yes, almost certainly from the tip of a blade. And what may appear at first to be just a tiny scrap is in fact a crucial piece of evidence. Interesting. And where did the defense come by this evidence? It was lodged in the chamber of Mr. Garadeb's pipe. My pipe, you say? By Jove, I wonder how that got there. And what precisely does this fragment of metal signify, Counsel? Are you suggesting that it is in some way related to the matter of the stabbing on Briar Road? I am. I am indeed. What? What? When put together with another piece of evidence already in the court record, I believe this tiny fragment of metal will unravel the whole truth of this case, my lord. She's standing on a box. You appear rather confident in that extraordinary statement, Counsel. Very well then, present the pertinent evidence to the court. What evidence, when paired with this fragment of metal, allegedly reveals the truth of this entire case? The knife.
Take that!
This is the knife that was found in the victim's back. If you look closely, you will see that there's a small piece of the tip of the blade that is missing. A common issue with the inferior blades sold at unsavory street markets. Criminals who use them regularly leave the tips lodged in their victims' bodies. And what of this particular knife? No doubt its tip has suffered a similar fate, now languishing somewhere near the spine of the victim.
Objection.
Actually... No, that's not the case. The tip of this particular knife's blade is the very fragment of metal we discovered in the chamber of Mr. Garadeb's pipe. Good grief, Lord Van Zeeks. I don't believe it. The knife from the crime scene and this fragment of metal are a perfect match. Good golly gosh. Order? Order? Is this some sort of Eastern sorcery? Yeah. 100%. This is no magic, my lord. This is a miracle. A miracle? So Van Zeeks has figured it out, has he? Counsel, explain this extraordinary coincidence at once. Yes, my lord. The crucial point we have to ask ourselves here is when did the fragment of metal find its way inside Mr. Garadeb's pipe? Something that was clarified for us in the most recent witness testimony. Had this thing in my hand as usual at the time of the onslaught. Knocked it clean out with one of her soft projectiles, she did. Would never have been sent flying unless it was hit by something pretty solid. Like a knife. Oh, dearie me. During the argument between these two that occurred just as the victim was on the pavement below, Mrs. Garadeb flung this knife at her husband. However, the knife missed Mr. Garadeb, instead striking the pipe in his hand at the time, which caused the tip to break off, of course. Good lord! Yes, and that is when the tiny tip of the blade found its way inside Mr. Garadeb's pipe. How he never noticed it after that was beyond me, but you know, the chances of that are 1,000,000 to 1! And yet there's no other credible explanation for how the tip of the blade ended up in your pipe. Then, after losing its tip, the knife ricocheted off the pipe and flew out of the open window. In short, I like that Van Zeeks at least can see the connects as you make them, even if he does tend to mock them. I love Van Zeeks. Van Zeeks is excellent. This knife, which fell from the window of the Garadeb's house, is the very same knife that struck the victim in the middle of the back on the street below. Oh gosh. Oh dear. Oh. Oh no. Oh no.
Objection!
When did he pour the glass? A full-bodied theory, I'll give you that. A complex bouquet of seemingly trivial points, plausibly arranged to create an almost passable vintage. Allow me to toast my learned friend's characteristically Nipponese approach to bottling his argument. Sorry? But after all, it is just a theory. The bottle, I fear, is corked. Because, you see... I love when he does that. It's spoiled by an insurmountable inconsistency. An insurmountable... What? Lord Van Zeeks, explain yourself. What is this inconsistency you claim to have identified? And how flexible do you have to be to slam your foot on that table? You know what? I'm not gonna go any further down the line of questioning. I'm gonna pretend I didn't say it. An inconsistency of the simplest nature, my lord. The victim was found with the knife planted in the middle of her back. Yes, in her... Oh. That's right, you silly little man. Now, Joan, old thing, what are you getting so excited about? Let us consider the basic facts of the case once more. The victim was walking along the pavement before being stabbed in the back and falling to the ground. If the knife that struck her had fallen from above, there's no possible way it could have planted itself into the victim's back. Well, there is a way. There is a way. Quite right. You see, that's exactly right. The knife had fallen on her from above, would have struck her on the top of her head. Well, one day he's gonna throw that and cause a fire. He's lost for words, look. I knew it. I never liked his theory in the first place. I don't know, though, what really did happen. I know. We're almost in the explanation. We're so close. I can smell it. It would appear the defense has made a rather spectacular blunder. If a theory has even one inconsistency, it cannot stand. Your theory, my learned friend, is history. What is it? Because there's one other thing we could never quite figure out. We were so close. I could see the truth. I was so sure we were on the right track. We were? Don't worry. But now the way has been blocked completely by just one simple inconsistency. Or in other words, we simply need to eliminate that one inconsistency and the theory will stand. Mr. Zato! You mustn't worry, Mr. Naruto. You were just caught off guard, that's all. And your mind went blank. As it does. But if the path you are on is indeed correct, then a way will present itself. The key to this is in the court record, I'm sure. All the information you need is there. Seems you have nothing to say, my Nipponese friend. Well, your silence speaks volumes. A tacit acceptance that your theory is fatally flawed. But the other thing we haven't been able to explain is why she was holding this book, because it wasn't hers. And it would take, some skill to throw it and have it land in her hand just so. I don't know, I'll come back.
Objection!
This inconsistency doesn't mean I was on the wrong track. It means I need to sharpen my mind and dig deeper for the truth. It's a test. Of your reflexes. Yes? If the knife fell on the victim from above, there's no way that it could have hit her in the middle of her back. Well, there's one way. Under normal circumstances, that is. What are you implying? Counsel? There's a piece of evidence in the court record that can explain this inconsistency. They can explain how the knife that fell from above could have pierced the victim's back. We already have the answer. Goodness. Utter madness. Surely this must be the last time. Counsel, present the evidence of which you speak. It's the book. This is the last inconsistency, the final piece in the puzzle. If I can successfully make sense of this, the truth will be laid bare at last. I wonder if you can, like, present, like, the photo in the crime scene, but I don't know. I just used the book, I'm pretty sure.
Take that!
This, the fourth book found at the scene. This is the final piece of evidence the defense will present. The burnt book? Is that not Mr. Garadev's book? Yes, and to understand its significance, we have to consider how it came to be at the scene in the first place. This photographic print clearly shows the book in question, and the victim holding it in her hand. But as we all know, it was the police constable that put the book between her fingers like that. Yeah, but he said it was just how he found it. Quite so, as part of his wholesale transplanting of the crime scene to the opposite side of the road. That's true. However, as part of his testimony, Constable Beat made an extremely enlightening statement on that point. But what made you place that book in the victim's hand? Oh, well, that's because that's how I found it. When I first ran over to the scene, the victim was already holding the book. So when I moved everything, I made sure it was still in her hand. In other words, the victim had already picked the book up of her own volition. And clearly, that must have been before she suffered the knife wound. Well, I should say so. After being attacked with a knife, I don't imagine she'd have been doing much of anything. So the question becomes, why did the victim have that book in her hand? Why Jingo? I think I'm beginning to see what may have happened now. Dearie me. We know that the book fell from the top floor of the Garadev household onto the pavement below, at precisely the moment that the victim was walking past. Yes, at exactly that moment. The young woman was walking along the street in the light fog, when all of a sudden, the book fell right in front of her. The book I threw. Yes, Mrs. Garadev, and what do you think the woman did? What would you do if you were walking along and suddenly a book landed in front of you on the pavement? Well, I really can't imagine it, but I suppose she might have reached down and picked the book up. Yes, that is exactly what the woman in fact did. She picked up the book. Oh heavens. And when the woman reached down to pick the fallen book up, what position would her back have been in? That's right, facing the sky, completely and utterly defenseless. Then, in the very next moment, while the woman was still bent over picking up the book, the next object fell from the room above, the jackknife, straight into the middle of her back. And at that same time, walking by chance directly behind Miss Green, was the defendant, Mr. Soseki Natsume. Well, I never. It appeared to Mr. Natsume that the woman simply collapsed on the floor. In the dark and the fog, he didn't see the knife falling on her from above. Oh dear. And from the other direction, the constable and his wife saw no one but the victim and her apparent attacker. So there never was a real culprit to run from the scene in the first place. No, this was nothing more than a series of unlikely events that culminated in an unfortunate accident. And that is the real truth behind this case. Well, Mr. and Mrs. Garadev, The very first time you showed me that knife, I had my suspicions. I wondered if perhaps it might have been something like that. There, old bean. Poor Mrs. Garrideb. Of course, I never meant for anything of the sort to happen, but it was all my fault, wasn't it? I take full responsibility. I let my anger get the better of me. I threw that book. And I threw the knife as well. John, dear. It's alright. I know. I'm ever so sorry. Truly. I'm sorry. He's doing his best. Okay, well, there was an attempt. And some torn clothing. Lord Van Zeeks, what news of Mrs. Garrideb? She's been taken to the infirmary. It would appear that today's events had left her in an especially flustered state. However, I believe she will recover in due course. There's no cause for concern. Yes, unbeknownst to themselves, they caused what could have easily been a terrible tragedy. They shall have to prepare themselves for the consequences of their actions. There is some good news, however, my lord. I've just had word from the hospital where the victim is being treated. Her condition is improving steadily, and the doctor believes she will regain consciousness soon. It's strange. We've been talking about the victim all this time, but we've never once met her. How wonderful. The woman is out of danger, it seems. Yes, that is good news. I was thinking of something from the second game. A bit unfortunate, because it's very silly. So, Mr. Soseki Natsume? Welcome back! Yes. On behalf of my fellow countrymen, I would like to take this opportunity to beg your pardon, sir. You came from your distant eastern homeland to study our great British culture, and have been repaid with immeasurable unkindness. Please accept our heartfelt apologies. No, it is me who should be begging your pardon. Oh no, Mr. Natsume. That evening, when the young woman just collapsed on the pavement before my eyes, I jumped to the wrong conclusion again in my confusion. What conclusion, sir? I was sure that the woman was dead. Yes, Constable Beat said the same thing, didn't he? He thought she had been killed too. I suppose she must have looked completely lifeless. It's been about a year since I arrived in Great Britain now, but I still can't get used to life here. I can't relax. I'm sure there are evil spirits lurking in the fog, like they're haunting me. My dog is leaving again. Poor Soseki-san. His imagination really has got the better of him. Yes, poor man. So when it happened, I thought the young woman had been taken by the fog spirits. I should never have dropped my books like that and run away. I should have called for help, for a doctor, for the police. Instead, I've managed to create a rift in the relationship of trust between our two empires. And for that, I'm truly sorry. Oh my god, Luna! My dog pacing. I don't know what got into her. One could indeed say that some sort of mischievous spirit has been at work here, I think. One that created a chain of unfortunate mishaps. Hello! Welcome back again. You wanna say hi? You wanna say hi? We were befooled by this spirit and led to false conclusions. But thanks to Lord Van Zeeks and our young lawyer here from the east, sorry, She's in my lap again. That chain has now been broken and the spirit exorcised. That's it. There you go. I heartily commend you both. Oh. Now then, ladies and gentlemen of the jury. Yes, my lord? In concluding this trial, I must ask one last time for your decisions regarding the defendant's culpability. Are you ready to present your findings to the court? As the foreman of this jury, I can assure you we've reached a fair and just conclusion. I do declare the truth can be extremely cruel at times. Well, I didn't suspect the woman next to me, that's for sure. Sitting in for the old bean while she's out of action, you know? But I know what her decision would be. Does this mean I'll finally be able to get out of here and start work? Well, it's about time. I say, I'll have a corker of a story to tell the grandchildren when I get home, won't I? Very well, ladies and gentlemen of the jury, I hereby demand your final decisions. Mr. Foreman?
Not guilty.
Not guilty.
Not guilty.
Not guilty.
Not guilty.
Not guilty.
Where you going, Luna Pup? She's in a mood. Very well, Mr. Soseki Natsume, I hereby pronounce you not guilty. I'm blocking part of it, it's fine. Confetti! Yippee! Hooray! That was certainly a trial. I remember being so shook at that outcome. That was the least expected thing. And finally, Mr. Natsume. Oh, yes, Lord, sir? You are now a free man once more. It is my hope that you will continue to further your education in British culture. And may you never again be brought before me. Oh, yes, sir, of course. On my life, I swear I'll never set foot in a courtroom again. I'm transported to tears. Thank you, counsels. Court is adjourned. We did it. Hooray. What a trial, man. Oh, locum. Wait, you mean me? Of course. Is there another locum here? Is there even one? Compared to the original locum student, Mr. Naruhodo Esquire, your name has become rather short, hasn't it? What's wrong with using my actual name? Oh, at last. I'm free. Joyful, joyous, jubilant, jubilation. Heady, hearty, happiness, hurrah, huzzah. Oh, I am pleased. Mr. Natsume is delighted. Would it be so hard just to say that, then? Locum, you did it. You saved me from the brink. Well, what happened to the poor woman was in no way your fault, after all. I'm just glad everyone can see that now. No, not that. Lovely, loyal locum lawyer. Yes? I mean, as I said before, I have just never got used to life here in Great Britain. Every time I look over my shoulder, I see foreigners. I see towering brick buildings. And from high up windows, I see them looking down on me, laughing. Look at that little hunchback. Oh dear, I'm sure it's all in your head, Mr. Natsume. But today, you, locum lawyer, gave my gloom the boot. This man loves his alliteration. Wasn't like there a real Soseki Natsume or something? I don't know nothing. Name's familiar. You stood firm behind that baronial bench before all those babbling British. You battled to the bitter end, laying bare the baffling truth. God, this man is testing me. And when I beheld the blinding fireworks among the beams of the Bailey's roof, I bellowed, "Behold the best barrister ever born!" Well, that's very flattering, and we're very pleased for you. This has given me a wonderful anecdote to recount to my old friends back in Japan. An anecdote? Is that what's to become of all my hard work? Ah, there you are, my dear fellows. I apologize for keeping you waiting. I rose late this morning. Oh, Mr. Sholmes, what a pleasure to see you. I see I am here not a moment too soon. A disaster has been averted, I am glad to say. Oh. The trial shall begin presently, Mr. Naruhodo, and I wish you the very best of luck. It's just finished. What? No, then my haste was in vain? It's you, Herlock Sholmes. Oh, have we met, sir? This is Mr. Natsume, the man you had arrested, Mr. Sholmes. Ah, I see. I failed to recognize you at first. Our previous encounters have taken place in the gloom, either of your bleak lodgings or that prison cell. I simply couldn't place that curious face in the light. Charming. This is all your fault, Herlock Sholmes. You're the reason I had to go through this terrible ordeal. I'm going to give you a piece of my mind. My apologies, sir, but I assure you, I have placed you now. You're the fellow who abandoned that poor young lady and ran off, are you not? Ah. Had she been taken to hospital more urgently, I feel perhaps she would have regained consciousness by now. Oh. But it was unavoidable, I'm sure. We are but human, after all. Anyone would have been shaken by such an experience. I do feel very badly about how I behaved. Well, never mind. Now then, what is it that you wanted to say to me, sir? Nothing. Well, priceless. Oh, I am sorry, really, but that was quite priceless. Or Soseki-san. Still, on the bright side, you've had an extremely entertaining experience without paying a penny. And, it would seem, you were not even found guilty. Because he wasn't guilty. But there is no bright side. Whatever do you mean, Mr. Natsume? Even after this, I'm still cursed by the spirits, and now by the Reaper. Ah, Lord Van Zeeks. I haven't forgotten, you know, what facing that man in court means. Even if you're found not guilty, you're still doomed. It will all be alright, Mr. Natsume. Hmm? If the Reaper appears trying to make trouble, I will protect you. With a perfectly executed Susato takedown. Much as I like being turned on my head, a bit of warning might be nice next time, Miss Susato. I love her. I really do. So, Mr. Natsume, what do you intend to do now? You mentioned something about recounting your experiences to your friends back in Japan? Yes, I intend to return to my homeland soon. Oh! It has already been a year since I arrived here in Great Britain. I've visited universities, libraries, bookshops. I've been honored with the tutelage of professors. I've learned so much about the wealth of literature here and the city it has shaped. And I've come to realize that it is my calling to sail home and tell my fellow countrymen about it. That's very touching, Mr. Natsume. Or, in perhaps less veiled terms, you wish to withdraw halfway around the world to escape the terror of the Reaper's curse? That's not it at all. The more I learn of literature, the more this strange feeling claws at my insides. I feel compelled to return to my roots and attempt to pen a work of my own. Oh, I see. A work of literature by Soseki-san. Could be an interesting read. And what about Miss Susato and yourself, Mr. Naruhodo? Sorry? What about us? Will you return to Japan alongside your mustached compatriot? I would be. A week has not yet passed since we arrived in London. And only now does it feel though we have finally found our feet. And you are accommodated in a hotel at present, are you not? That's right, but we need to find lodgings before it bankrupts us. I calculated we can only afford another 10 nights before our entire budget is exhausted. Well then, you could take my lodgings. Oh, the windowless room? Ah, but it lacks in windows. And more than makes up for with a floor, a ceiling, and walls. Great. And of course, I'd be happy to leave behind the accursed evil spirit. Oh my, an evil spirit. Oh yes. It tries to suffocate you while you sleep. It's an infallible wake-up call. We'll think about it, if that's alright. Perhaps I can offer a more welcome alternative. Would you consider taking lodgings with me? Really? Well, a vacancy has conveniently presented itself. Though it is up in the attic, I might add. Are you sure it isn't just a storage lapse? I spoke with the landlady this very morning on the matter of price, and Iris is cleaning the room as we speak. You must come at once. I presume you have no luggage to speak of? Oh, this is simply wonderful. What an honor to be invited to taking lodgings in the great detective's office's attic. I'm too overcome for words. So, suggesting we look elsewhere is out then. Then it's settled. Iris will prepare a welcome dinner this evening. And you must come too, Mr. Natsume. I insist. I don't know what to say, but thank you. And yes. Wonderful. Then I'll go and complete the paperwork for your formal release, Mr. Natsume. It shan't take long. Somebody's happy. I'm also happy. Locum. I knew that you wouldn't let me down. I'm truly delighted to have met you here in London. Likewise, Mr. Natsume. It's been a privilege meeting you too. It's a shame that we're going to have to say goodbye so soon. Well, I've come to realize that I belong in Japan. But Locum, we'll meet again one day. Yes, I'm sure. And hopefully by then, I'll be a successful lawyer. Hopefully by then, I'll be a successful author. Well, my dear fellow, bro, our carriage appears to have arrived. Shall we go, Mr. Naruhodo? You are a successful lawyer. Yes, Mr. Sholmes. Technically, we won every case we've been involved in. There have just been not very many of them. I've little doubt Mr. Natsume will be released in time for dinner this evening. And so, with Soseki-san's innocence successfully established, we rode with Mr. Sholmes to what was to become our new home, 221B Baker Street. Yay! Ta-da! The attic. So this is to be our new office, yes. Our office? I rather like the sound of that. Me too. It's simply wonderful, isn't it? I hope you can see this, Kazuma. It's only a small step, but I'd like to think we're getting a little closer to your dream now. So, my dear fellows, do you like the place? Ah, Mr. Sholmes. Yes, thank you so much. It's a delightful room, Mr. Sholmes. I simply adore it. And it even has a window. Good, I'm pleased to hear it. Iris and I are delighted to welcome you. I hope everyone's hungry. It's nearly time for dinner. It's past time for dinner, man. It's almost 7 again. We'll leave as soon as Mr. Natsume arrives. We have a lot to celebrate. Iris, you must let me help you. Alright then, Susie. You can be in charge of the salad. Splendid. So, Mr. Naruhodo, how does it feel to have your own office in the capital? Very exciting, actually. I can't help wondering what adventures await us. Those were precisely my sentiments when I first established my office at these premises. Until I discovered the dark truth about the city of London, that is. Sorry? London is a glorious place full of wonder, opportunity, prosperity, and mirth. But the brightest of lights casts the darkest of shadows. Shadows? What do you mean? Well, I believe you're well aware of the murkiness that lies behind London's facade already. So once again, Mr. Naruhodo, welcome to London. Of course, at the time, I had no idea of the significance of those words Mr. Sholmes so casually spoke, but it wasn't long before my turn came to lift the facade and see the true depth of the murk that lay behind it. End chapter. We've made it. That took longer than I thought it was going to. Yes, I'm saving my current progress. Wait, I'm saving. Oh my god, the last chapter! I'm not doing it tonight, but the last chapter is here. Let me just toggle off my book. Thank you for joining me! I hope you liked that. I love this game to pieces, and every time I get to play it, I get very excited. Well, I will be back next year. I don't know if it'll be the week I come back or what, because I have some stuff I gotta do. Let me see. We can probably do something. We'll be a very small raid, but we should... We have a friend that's playing something. We're gonna raid Momo. I'm gonna hit start raid. But thank you guys for another fun year. Thank you, Tilver. I will still be on Discord. Just not streaming. Bye, you guys. It has been fun. I hope you have also enjoyed it.